Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Daniel Rosehill here. So I wanted to record a video today, basically just explaining what I've been doing over the last few months, trying to keep track of the technical aspects of my video production. So I started doing YouTube videos the best part of, let's say, a year ago, actively starting out with some kind of screencasts and tutorials, showing how to do different things on Linux and stuff like that. And I always kind of plan to do something a little bit more than that, and it's still very much my aspiration. Feel like I'm just scratching the surface, but as I scratch the surface, one of the aspects of video production that I feel very much drawn to, perhaps just because I'm kind of a technical bend, is the technical aspects, the gear, the equipment that go into making video, whether we're talking about video blogs such as the one you're working with, the one you're watching, or videos out in the field shot with a camcorder and all that. Now, what I like to do is keep track of what I'm trying out. And as this has gone on, this hobby has evolved, I've sort of started to build up my first pieces of gear, and keeping track of what I'm using, what I have, becomes not difficult, but slightly more important, particularly when you're talking with people on videography forums or camera forums, or you want to send somebody a link and get their feedback on what did you think of the audio on this clip, what did you think of the lighting, what am I doing wrong, what could I be doing better. So for that reason, those reasons and many more, I've developed been doing a few things, and I wanted to just show these things in case you're starting a YouTube channel. And of course, this is not prescriptive. This is just what I'm doing, and I'm offering it out there to the world in case you think it's a good idea and it might work well for you. So let me get into it. So first thing I did was build out a spreadsheet, or I've built out a spreadsheet, and that's basically keeping track of what I currently have in terms of video and audio equipment. Now, I'm gonna just move myself down a small bit here to show you what I am using, or what I've done to make the spreadsheet. So I'm gonna actually put myself over here so you can see the tabs. So this is a spreadsheet that it's a work in progress. As I acquire new things, I'm adding them, but I've divided it according to a category. So I have, starting with my cameras, the Canon Vixia HF R800, the Kuau 20MP Action Cam. Believe me, it gets hard to remember all these different product names as you build out a kit. Lenses, I'm actually about to do that tonight, along with lens filters, because I just picked these up in the last week from Amazon while in the US. So I need to just take notes of what manufacturer, product, lens, etc. And that's kind of how it works. And let me show you one that I've actually fleshed out a bit more than this. So here's an example. This is the microphones one, and this is where I'm keeping track of my burgeoning microphone collection. Now, I think audio is something that I find really interesting. I've sort of dabbled in podcasting and audio production before this YouTube journey really kicked off, and therefore I've kind of already had a few microphones. Definitely not very high-end microphones. I am doing all this on a budget, and what I'm trying to do is really cast a wide net to have one of everything, even if those things are not super high quality. What I've done here is just kind of noted the information that I thought would be useful, manufacturer and model, and then I have concatenated these two columns because when you're posting on forums, whether on Reddit or the Canon community or wherever else, you typically refer to a piece of kit by manufacturer, model, and it just gets really hard to keep all these straight. You've got the Bietron WXM04 and the Maono KMD2 and the Maono AU UL10. So there is another purpose for this, and that will become clear just in a couple of moments. I'll show you what I'm adding into my YouTube video descriptions. So I've noted the manufacturer model, I've noted the microphone, I've noted what type of microphone that is, connection type, analog or digital, batteries. I've even put down what type of batteries the thing has, and if I don't have that info, I just kind of Google it and try to source it. So this is a, for example, this is a, this is the powered lav mic. This is the powered lav mic. The question is, does it list the battery? Probably does, or is it? I think this is an updated model that's charged from a micro USB. So anyway, that's what I do. I try to create a good information source, bringing all together the information, because I buy stuff from AliExpress, I buy stuff from Amazon, and I wanted to have this central lookup so that if for some weird reason I happen to be outside an amazing camera store that is holding a flash sale and I say, oh my goodness, what do I need? I can easily look up and see what's in my current microphone box and what might be the next logical upgrade. If you have any feedback on these microphones besides the fact they all kind of suck, do let me know in the comments. No, they don't all suck. That's I've developed a relationship with these microphones, and some of them are, none of them are outstanding, but some of them get the job done. So lighting is the next one, I've just noted, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to go through every tab here. So that's my spreadsheet, and as I said, it's a work in progress. The second thing I do is, I'm just checking the time here, 6 minutes. I have been for a while adding in these descriptions I call them production notes. I don't know if there's a better word. And basically for every video I upload to YouTube, what I've done here is in the upload defaults, there is this setting for a default description. And so that I don't need to type it in every time, I've just copied and pasted it here. And I'll show you what my default is. It's basically the camera used, plus the audio source, that's the microphone, plus the stabilization, if any, plus the lighting equipment used. Post-production, I just typically write, did I do it? If I don't do it, I write Nill. If I do it, I write Caden Live, or if it's another pro, eventually I hope to graduate to DaVinci, and then if there are some other notes, I put them in there too, and that's in my upload defaults. Now, I have found that the upload defaults functionality is a small bit buggy. Therefore, I do find that it sometimes doesn't get included in things I upload from my phone on YouTube, and therefore what I do is I go in batches and I will update previous clips. So I just actually did this one for a previous take that did not go so well. So I'll just do this again and pretend you didn't see this. So I just take a note, and this is why this is very useful, because I can't remember the name of every single microphone in my collection, even though there's only like 10 microphones in there, but some of them are kind of new to me. So between the Maonos, for instance, it's not sure I can always remember all these three off the top of my head, but I can just look up this spreadsheet and quickly add in my source. And I try to include as much information, given the fact that there's two purposes for this. Purpose one might be I'm listening back to this particular previous YouTube video, and I say, that I really got the audio. The audio really came out nicely in that clip. So therefore, I want to include as much info as might be useful. So I can actually remember this particular one. It was a flight that we took between Philadelphia and Dallas, and there was some turbulence, and one of the things I picked up in the US was this action camera, and it was before I'd figured out how to get the action camera out of its waterproof casing, and so the audio is really muffled in it. So that's the kind of thing I would just put in, internal microphone while in waterproof case. And you could even say the one that came was the product. Now, clearly there would be other ways to do this. You could keep an offline spreadsheet, and by putting it in the video description, everybody is going to be able to see it. Now, the reason I did it like this is because, as I said, I might want to share these for critiques or feedback when I get a bit better. You could do both. You could keep a spreadsheet, just so that would probably be the better approach. In fact, every video, keep a spreadsheet, keep your description in the spreadsheet, keep production notes as a separate part of the spreadsheet, and you can decide if you want to share one particular production note with the public and then hide the rest of them. But the way I'm doing it right now is just like this. So stabilization, Nill, this is if I use a gimbal or not, or in the future I would love to experiment with steady cams and those manual ones. lighting. And again, I'm just trying to be descriptive. This was cabin lighting only. So it was variable because it was in an airplane and the cabin crew changed the lighting a bit. So I'm not just going to write, artificial lighting or LED lighting. Post-production is, whether I do it firstly or not. Some of the videos I put up on YouTube are just raw, and others I've edited. And as I said, I would like to get to DaVinci eventually, so that way I'll be able to just go back and see and look through a clip and say, okay, that was Caden Live, so I can kind of see the way the transitions were done there was a bit different, and etc. So that's just one video description. And as I said, I go back through these in batches, and I'll do sort of like 10 or 20 at a time. I try to do this obviously as soon as possible so that I can still remember the microphone I used. It's unlikely I'm going to remember a year later whether I shot a video blog using a lapel mic or using a shotgun microphone. So that's why I try to capture that info ASAP post shoot. Okay, one final thing I do is, you could call this my hacky maybe a little bit, but I basically will, I'm just gonna go through and get open a playlist. I thought I did this before I started rolling this clip, but apparently not. Let's just go into this one. I just created a demo one for the purpose of this video. So here we go. So what I will do a lot of the time or sometimes is shoot test clips around the house using my phone, or edit them a little bit. And these are just for me to test out a functionality. So I did one a few days ago using a microphone on a boom pole and testing around my apartment. Now I didn't want to put that up publicly because of the fact that, it's my apartment and there's kind of a privacy issue there. So what I did instead was I've created about 5 or 6, I'm gonna say 10, probably 5 or 6 playlists, and I call them production. And what I have is a bit like this. I have one main one called production. I have production audio, production lighting, production stabilization, production production cameras, and each one is so that I can quickly go into a playlist and it's going to be tests of a specific function. So right now I'm testing out microphones. So when I upload a private microphone test, I will basically tag it or add it to the playlist production and production audio. Those are all private playlists, but I have them bookmarked, and that means I can just go in to a private playlist and listen to a few different tests I did. And that is basically it. Another thing you can do is create an alternative approach that you may prefer. You can create a separate YouTube channel just for testing, and then set the upload default on that YouTube channel to private. So that's another thing you can do. I've done that too, but I find it's typically easier just to work everything in the one channel. But if you wanted to add different brand managers or your bargaining crew to a channel but not to your main channel, then that would be an option, I think, where that kind of a thing would make sense. So this is basically what I'm doing so far. Right now I'm excited and trying to level up as quickly as I can, but in the usual course of things I kind of do this at a lesser pace. But I think altogether, between the spreadsheet and the private playlists and the video descriptions, it's a reasonably good system for keeping track of all the different technical aspects that go into producing video. And from my perspective right now, the ones I'm focused on are audio, video, lighting, and stabilization, and post-production editing. But I'm trying to get those kind of core technical skills down before I start doing more sophisticated things like interviewing people and etc. Because I did my first interview, or one of my first interviews recently, and well, a few months ago, and I didn't have the gear that I've just got in, and the audio was absolutely unusable. And that kind of taught me that I should probably get my skills down and get my gear down before I waste anybody's time having them sit down with me for 30 minutes to tell me an interview, only to have to write back an email or Facebook saying, I'm really sorry, but I can't do anything with that audio. It's just like not usable. So that's kind of my goal, is to sort of avoid those situations from happening again. So I hope this video is useful. If you have your own methodology for YouTube videos and for editing your YouTube videos and making things better, then please feel free to leave me a comment telling me what you guys do, or how you think this system could be better. Thank you very much for watching, and if you want to get more videos from me, please feel free to subscribe.